Hi everybody, it's Natalie Barnes here again from Beyond the Reef Patterns. We are on day 2 of the Mary and Maud Mystery Quilt Along. I hope by now you have finished your block number 1. Let me bring that down so you can see it. Can you see that there? We've got day number 1 block all completed, and I've got the parts and pieces for block number 2 ready to go and put together. One of the things that you'll notice about Beyond the Reef Patterns is that as the designer, I try really hard to hide the block and give you some sense to pause and say, now how was that put together? And I think this block number 2 does just that. So I wanted to go over some of the parts and pieces that puts this block together for you. I'm going to take this down and give you some idea of these pieces. Here's the first piece. And as an example, you're sewing two 2.5-inch squares together and sewing that to a 4.5-inch square. Then you're making your 4.5-inch finished half square triangle and sewing that to these two 2.5-inch squares that you've sewn together. And then you're going to sew these 3 together after you've made your 2.5-inch half square triangle there. And that gives you the first portion of this block number 2. Next, what we're going to do, and I'm going to leave a little gap in between so you can see, you're going to make another half square triangle in 4.5-inch dimension, and then you're going to sew 2, 4, 6 of these 2.5-inch squares together. And I think you can see why now I suggested that you put everything in its right order in terms of, I guess I would call it skew, but each different pattern design, so that when you're grabbing your blocks, if you want a little white flurry block and then you want a red flurry block, you just grab them from the piles, put 2 right sides together and sew, and you're set to go. The next thing that's going to put this block together is this next row here. Which is again 2.5-inch squares, a half square triangle with a 2.5-inch square, a completed 4.5-inch square, and then these 2 2.5-inch squares. But you're not done yet. There's one more row, and then once you sew this together, you'll be looking at it thinking, now how was that a block after all? But if you do it piece by piece, you'll end up with all the pieces that you need for this next block. With your seams pressed open, you're going to want to have some pins adjacent to your sewing area so that you can put a little pin in here and there so that you make sure that you're really aligning those seams carefully. Unlike when you nestle your seams, you won't be able to feel that, and everything's going to be flat. So you want to be sure you get a pin here and there. I hope that by now you've found your general instructions, and then later on today we're going to be posting day 2's block, which is what I've just shown you here. Have you figured out what you're making yet? Have these 2 blocks given it away? I don't think so. And don't think that these 2 blocks are going to sit next to each other, because they don't even fit, do they? They're in different parts of the quilt tops, to be sure. We said that we were going to do a giveaway, and so I want to make sure that you know how it is that you can sign up for the giveaway. I want you to, in the comments on Instagram, please tag another friend or another quilter, someone that you think would be interested in this project, and then go ahead and give your best guess as to what you think it is that we're actually making, what the image is of this holiday element. What do you think all of these pieces are going to end up making? So that's the one way that you can be signed up for today's giveaway. And tomorrow morning, when I wake up, I will look through all of the guesses, and I will not pick the one that's closest to what you think you're making. No, 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 no. Remember, my goal in the introduction was to make sure that you were as confused as possible. And so we're going to continue that. I'm just going to use the random number generator and select someone, and then I'm going to send priority mail the 9 fat quarters that we're using from Mary and Maud Fabrics by Windham Fabrics to that person. And we'll do the same thing for the next few days. We're only on day 2, and we've got 7 blocks total to make before the big reveal on day 8. So I hope that you're enjoying yourself and you've carved out some time to be able to at least cut all of your pieces and start to make at least block number 1. Now you're on to block number 2, and really, they're only 7. So easy peasy. You know, the holidays will be here in no time, but you will be ready, you will be organized, you will have all of your decorations from years before and something new for this year. So thank you so very much for joining us here. Again, you've got 2.5-inch strips and 4.5-inch strips, and you're cutting the half square triangles using the goddess tool, and you're using all of your squares with your regular cutting tools that you've got. And now, with a little Aurifil 50 weight sunk into your seams, you are ready to start piecing the pieces for block number 2. Thanks again for joining us, and I hope that you're still confused about what it is you're making. My job here is done if I've confused you just a little bit. Enjoy the process and take some time for yourself. Just a few minutes and sit and sew some pieces together and enjoy that part of the day. From my home to yours, thanks very much. Oh, one other thing. We are also, I don't know if you noticed, but we're also posting these videos on YouTube, and the YouTube channel is Beyond the Reef Patterns. So if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to that, and you'll find all the links for everything that you need in the description box below in the YouTube channel. So we've got you covered on IGTV, Instagram, and on YouTube channel. We're posting on the website, and we're posting on the blog, which is Beyond the Reef Patterns blogspot.com. Okay, have a great evening. It's day number 2. Can you guess what we're making?